live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Living Better podcast. I'm your host, Matt. This is my wife, Jodi, and today we are with Rebecca Tolk. She is a fine art photographer, and lately she started working remotely, probably most likely so because of the pandemic and COVID. But it's going to be really interesting to see how she can work remotely into creating the art that she does, which is quite amazing. So thanks for being on the show.
Yes, thank you, Rebecca. We're really
You're
excited
welcome.
to have you on our podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey and what brought you into photography and how old were you when you got into it?
Oh my goodness. Sure. Thank you for having me here. I'm really happy to be here. So I actually started taking pictures when I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah, I started in high school, and but I started my business soon after when I was 21. So like I've been in business about 25 years.
Wow. You started at a young age. Good for you.
I did. I was floundering. I was working in a health food store. I didn't know what I was doing. And I met a group of entrepreneurial businesswomen, and one of them was a coach.
Wow.
And so I started attending their meetings and got involved in the workshops. And they just really taught me what it was to run a business, that I could run a business.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty amazing. And I mean, I've been unemployable ever since. I like to say I don't think I could ever go back into the workforce. I love having my own business.
Oh
it's
my God,
wonderful.
I'm sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in creating a business, what was the challenges you encountered in the beginning that were the hardest, or to get started, to put yourself out there?
Goodness, that was a long time ago. I mean, I think at first learning how to market, like, and understanding that you have to go out beyond your immediate circles and beyond the people, that you know. And at the time, there wasn't digital media or marketing. So I did a lot of just like local magazine advertising, because I did kids' portraits and weddings in the beginning.
Yes. Okay.
So like with weddings, I'd connect with other vendors and we'd refer each other. But I think just learning how to do that, and learning the ins and outs. Like, you can't just focus on one thing. Like, you have to be in lots of different places at once. And of course, learning how to manage my time so I didn't burn out.
Yeah, totally.
Putting in structures for myself. Like, I always, I was burning out pretty fast, and I finally said, okay, you know what? I'm not working Sundays, right? Like, I'm not even opening my computer. Like, I'm not.
Good for you.
So it's like just a lot of like learning of how to, not just how to do it, but how to manage it, and how to stay balanced.
For your well-being, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. So let's go in depth about what kind of photography you actually do. Just because your website's so amazing. If you'd like to talk about that.
Sure. So in response to COVID and quarantine, when, the world shut down, I learned about remote photography, and I fell in love with it. It was just so magical to me, and so exciting to be able to work and create in a time where, we really needed to be able to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I created, as I was learning it, I also realized that I wanted to bring in another aspect to my art, and that's healing. That's another passion of mine. So I created embodied remote portrait sessions. Remote because I can photograph through a video call on FaceTime or WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
And embodied because I give an embodiment session to my clients before the photo shoot, which allows people to really just get out of their head and connect to their body and their essence, so that they're really just open and ready and shining and bright and beautiful for their photo shoot.
That's amazing. So before that, what exactly do? You just kind of talk
Yeah, what's
to
an
them?
embodied session?
Like, do you just ask them questions to figure out their comfort level with their own body, insecurities? And how do you go about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have an in-depth questionnaire that I send you when you book a session with me, and it really helps you get clear on your intentions. It helps me learn where your comfort level's at. Like it tells me if you want to do a nude photo shoot or a partially nude photo shoot. You know, for couples, it tells me if this is erotica or kink or BDSM or romance or, you know, so it tells me all those things, but it also tells me what you're confronted by in images when you see yourself, right? It also tells me what you love about yourself. And this questionnaire goes to the embodiment guide, so we can really create a safe space for you to have your own personal transformational experience with it.
Totally.
You know? Yeah. Because once you are able to like get out of your own way of those negative thoughts, like, oh, am I going to look good? Am I going to look right? Am I too big? Am I too small? Like whatever it is, once you can like get out of your head, and that's what the embodiment session is for, then you're just really, it's amazing what, like I see people transform in front of me, right? And I just capture their essence, and then they have that, like they have that tangible reminder forever to always bring them back to who they really are.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely. 110%.
And that's my goal. Like that's my intention, to bring that to people.
Yeah, and I think that's really amazing. Congrats on that, because in these times, there's a lot of businesses that went out of business because they were resisting the change. So with whatever's going on right now with COVID, the pandemic, it's there. We're going through it. So some businesses were resisting and they eventually died down. They had to go bankrupt and they closed down. And we've seen many businesses like that, whether others have turned this into success and have started online shops. You, like for yourself, you started remote pictures, photography, remote photography. And I mean, that's truly amazing that you were able to adapt quickly and turn around and keep striving into what you're doing. In doing so, what have you discovered about doing this? Like the challenges and the benefits.
Also, I was also going to ask you, do you find that your clients are a lot more comfortable working remotely than in person? Do you know what I mean? Because physically in person, being naked in front of somebody would maybe be more shy than doing it remotely. So do you see that difference within your clients also?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's a very interesting experience. So there's a lot of safety because I'm not there, right? So like, especially for couples exploring erotica, there's not a third person with a camera in their bedroom, right? And that's like, you're not even on selfie mode. I actually shoot through the back lens. Wow. So it's you can't see yourself. You can just hear my disembodied voice, you know, directing you. And it allows you to really like drop into your moment and your connection, right? And gives you space for that. And there's a real intimacy there between me and the clients. And I haven't quite figured it out yet, because I feel like I've been in so many people's homes, but I haven't, right? And they feel like I've been there. So I have this one client I was photographing, and we were in her living room, and I was in the phone on her tripod, and she took a bathroom break. And when she came back out, she freaked out. She was like, "Where's Rebecca? Where'd you go?" And like, it took her a minute to realize that I wasn't physically there in person. Wow. Like I was still there on the phone. It's a weird kind of dynamic. And I think it's different than a regular FaceTime call with your friend, because we're actually doing work together, right?
There's of course.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it feels more intimate and more real. But it's also really funny because you can't see me. So I can't show you how to pose. Like, I mean, I'm not a big poser, right? I like a lot of natural, but sometimes I might want you to come up and touch your face, and I can't show you. So I have to tell you. And that's really funny. We end up like mixing up our lefts and our rights and laughing.
Oh, totally. Of course. Yeah.
Which makes great pictures.
Oh,
So you got to
nice.
have a sense of humor and a little bit of letting go and just trusting the flow. It's really fun.
Yeah. And by now our listeners probably figure out that you shoot more pictures in terms of erotica, or photographs in terms of erotica, couples semi-naked or fully naked. And what got you interested into taking those photographs and working with people in that sense?
Well, for me, I love photographing people's essence. And for everyone, you know, they express it differently, right? So some people, their clothes are on, their clothes are off, they're more joy, more serene. And for couples, for me, it's really about the connection and the devotion and the union. And again, with every couple, it's expressed differently. Some people, you know, it can go from sweet and tender romance all the way to crazy kinky erotica. And since I'm a very open person,
yes,
like I support it all, I embrace it all, I love it all. I love photographing the broad spectrum of expression and emotion. So I really honor where you're at and what you want to create. And my inspiration comes from just, again, from your connection. And so I had people ask about erotica and nudes, and I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, fun. And they're really beautiful. I mean, in a way, the sexual intimacy there's a lot of raw emotion there, right? There's a lot of passion, especially in a safe place where we're shooting remotely. You know, there's a deeper opportunity to let your guard down, and it just makes for really beautiful images.
No, absolutely. It's great.
Yeah. And for people who want to check out your work, they can go to RebeccaTolk.com, and we'll put the links in the description. So it'll be easier for you listeners to just click on it and go check out her work. But to get back to the podcast, what clients would you say approach you the most? What are they looking for when they come to you? What do they really want out of your work?
Well, people are definitely drawn to me for my images that, you know, my edits are very dreamy and ethereal. I do a lot of black and white. I add a lot of grain. I was a film photographer for most of my career. So I edit, you know, to have it look more like film. I love creating, you know, moments in a dream. So that's the first thing. They're drawn to my imagery and to my aesthetic. And I also get a lot of clients who are drawn to the embodiment piece. They really like that I offer that support, because so often we're just nervous and in our heads, right? And we don't know what to do. So a lot of my clients are already on healing journeys or journeys of awakening, are exploring their sexuality.
Well, exactly. And as a couple too, right? This is an amazing thing to do, to actually reconnect and maybe get those sparks flying again, you know, with that work. You know, it's rare that usually, you know, couples were such in a go, like life today, that we don't really sit and take the time as a couple to really just be focused and into it and take that time to really just connect, you know. So that really, I'm sure it does take that moment for a couple to really connect and like get those emotions going, like that build up probably too, right? While you're photographing and they're touching each other, and like it's a deep, beautiful thing, I'm really sure.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the other thing is, so I work with the embodiment guides and sexuality coaches, and some of the coaches use this work for their clients as like a before and after, you know, so we might do a shoot when they first come to them, do one in the middle and then one at the end. And I have this beautiful handmade album that I provide in one of the packages. And so you can like tell the story of the coming back together, you know, or the opening or awakening, which you can do as an individual or a couple, how, you know, so it's really a beautiful idea in that respect for creating a story. It's like having a journal in images, you know?
Yeah, or you can probably see that in the beginning they're more shy, and as they explore more through photograph and connecting, they embrace more their sexuality, and I'm sure at the end the pictures are like totally different. They're like they're like becoming really out there and open and like, all right, let's get those nice erotic pictures, and I'm sure it's beautiful to see, and I'm sure a lot of people healed through that too. I could definitely see how people wants to explore their sexuality as a couple could use that as just another means to
to reconnect.
To reconnect.
Yes, of course. Okay, I have like a really weird question, but I'm just curious. Have you ever had like a couple asking you to photograph something that maybe you felt uncomfortable
That's a good
doing, like a weird kinky thing or like anything? Or are you pretty much open and you're willing to photograph it all? Or
sometimes I may feel uncomfortable, but it doesn't stop me from photographing. And it's not like to me, I look at it all as like a learning process, right? Like if I'm confronted by a particular style of kink that maybe isn't my thing, or maybe it's something, that I've never thought about for myself, but it's like, oh wow. Like, so I don't judge it, right? Okay. Like I don't judge them and I don't judge my reaction, but I definitely just like notice if I'm confronted by something like, oh, like maybe this is something for me to work on. And if anything, it like brings me even closer to the moment, right? Like really focusing in on what's happening. But yeah, there's nothing I've really, yet, knock on wood, that I've had to say no to. Plus we're remote. Like, if there was something really crazy out there, like I am safe, but it's not like I'm there in person and they're trying to get me in on the action or anything like that.
Yeah. Totally.
Put your camera down and join in.
No. I'm not advertising that service.
No, of course not. Absolutely not.
So it's been a great way for you to discover a bit more about yourself as well
too.
Through your heart and what you're doing
and your passion.
It's like especially when I photograph women on their journeys of awakening, it's fascinating because I'll see women who are in places that I want to get to, like with their empowerment or self-esteem, so it's a wonderful, in a way, it's like a wonderful recognizing for me, and like they don't even know it, but they're standing up for me and for all the women who want to experience 100%. What they experience. And then I'll photograph women who maybe are at a place that I've already been to and overcome, and I have a lot of compassion and empathy for them because I know what they're going through. So it's really a fascinating process to, like you said, it supports my own healing and awareness and awakening, working with people in this realm.
Yeah, that's totally awesome. And we've done something like that. We went and did a photo shoot together. I was in person with an artist, and he took a bunch of super nice erotic pictures of us together, and we picked one that we got on we made like a big enhancement, like we got it bigger, and it's super nice, and it was fun. Like we really enjoyed it together. So I could see how, like, from our own experience, it was fun. So I could see how that could be a lot of fun, and doing it remotely, you feel, like you said, maybe a lot safer for people that are more reserved or introverts.
But it's also for people all over the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Well.
So it's pretty amazing. It gives us opportunity for anybody, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So
yes, I have photographed people in Australia, Ireland, England, Canada. I'm in Florida. I photographed California, all over the States. I'm meeting with someone in New Zealand.
Wow.
It's fun. You do have to have daylight during my working hours, so it is harder to photograph in Australia and India. But I am starting to explore. If you have enough artificial light, like enough lamps or ring lights, if we can create enough light's really important, and strong Wi-Fi. Like that's key. If the Wi-Fi is not strong, the image quality is not very good.
Okay.
So
Well, I could see that too because of the time zones, right? So it's like for some people, their daylight is like 2, 3 a.m. for you, and you might want to sleep, right? So that can be challenging.
I sleep a lot, yeah.
But have you ever woken like in the night to do a session? No, you don't.
No, I care too much about my sleep. I need my sleep.
No, so do I, girl. I feel you.
Yeah, self-care, total self-care. 100%. I sleep.
Good for you. That's amazing.
I mean, I have done a really early, what was it? The Australia was early morning for her, late afternoon for me. But also the time changes, right? Yeah. Like before this time change, like it's weird. I mean, now I think shooting Australia would be really hard, but before the time change in autumn, it was reasonable.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. So each person will just have to look at the schedule and, you know, do our best to work with it. Or like I said, set up a lot of lights in the home.
Okay. And that might be a little more personal question, but have you ever shoot a session that you really got into, either because the people were really passionate, because it was very beautiful, or how did it trigger you and why?
Oh God, I get into all my sessions. They're all so beautiful.
Nice.
I mean, they're just, I mean, that moment of connection, of essence, of soul, of opening, like it's just amazing to me. I mean, I get charged, like juiced up, you know, every time. Wow. Beautiful.
So it's so fulfilling to you too. That's amazing. You're really living the dream, you know, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I do not, I mean, this doesn't feel like work. I mean, I don't really equate.
But then that's when you know you're really living. You know what I mean? You're actually doing what you love to do every single day. And it fulfills you just as much as it fulfills others. Yeah. So that's incredible. So good for you. So you did also have some photos that you wanted to share or show. Let's see that. So then also the viewers can see, so they can definitely get in contact if they're interested.
Screen on. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite couples that I printed out. This is really great because they're on their dining room table.
Wow.
I know.
And for people who are listening to this, you can go to YouTube and check the video portion of it if you're on the audio track. We have it all on YouTube.
Most of these are also on my website, for sure. Yeah. Everything on my website is has been photographed remotely. This one was really beautiful. She was laying on her floor, and that was just this really hot window light coming right in on her face, and it was just stunning.
Yeah, it's really nice. Stunning.
Yeah. This one was so much fun. She had a bunch of fish tanks in her basement.
Cool.
She put the phone like on the other side of the fish tank.
Okay.
So I'm shooting through the fish tank, and she's looking in the fish tank, and that's her reflection.
Wow, that's interesting. That's super really cool.
I know. I love that one. Yeah. That one was super fun. I mean, it's like really a cool, like it's time to get creative, make art, have fun, get out of the routine, especially people who are still in quarantine. I mean, I know we're all at different levels around the world.
It changes all the time.
For the most part, our lives have become a lot more, I don't know, for me, like I'm here all the time now in my home, you know, it's like the same stuff. So I really wanted to create something that could break the monotony, could be about self-love, a day of pampering. I mean, I send my clients a gift box with like herbal bath and body products, and I invite you to take a bath and pamper yourself the day of your shoot. The date night box for couples, it's got some racy things. Oh, it has a candle that melts into massage oil.
Oh,
so you could like use that in the photo shoot if you want to.
Oh my God.
Cool.
Yeah. Like I really went big with this.
You did, but good. That's amazing.
And you're really imaginative.
I am very imaginative.
Yeah. Well, you're an artist, right? Yeah. You have to be.
This one was her backyard. This was in Canada.
Okay.
I don't know where in Canada. I forget.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a beautiful woman in the forest. They're in black and white.
Yeah. I love editing in black and white. I think I already told you that. Look at this one.
Cool. So she was spinning, I guess?
Yeah, her phone was on the floor, and I had her turn, like she was doing slow spins in front of the camera back and forth. And I took a whole bunch of captures, and she bent down sometimes. And, you know, I was telling you guys before we started recording that I also one time had a client where we taped I had them tape their phone to the ceiling fan. So they were, I was looking down on them. So again, just really, this morning I had a shoot where the phone was on the floor she was out on her patio, and the roof of her patio had all these vines growing on it. So we put the phone on the floor looking up, and she was looking down. She had all these curls coming down, and you could see the vines behind her. It was so cool. I mean, it's fun.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's awesome because you use the phone's client. That's your main tool, right? So they use their phone and then they film themselves, I guess.
No.
Or they take pictures on a timer.
No, they're not doing anything. We're on a video call, and I am taking screenshots on my phone of what I'm seeing through the video call and I'm directing. Like, we have a virtual consult before the shoot, the week before, and we pick out the locations. We look at lighting and composition. We look at wardrobe. You know, we get all the technical stuff out of the way and set up.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you're ready, you're prepared. You can clean up your space if you want. But yeah, then the phone is just there. Either you have a tripod, or I show you how, like, you could put your phone in a coffee mug and you've got a tripod, you know, it'll stand up with a little towel in there. So, yeah, but yeah, we get that all set up beforehand. So, so you're not stressed out on the day of the shoot.
And you just take screenshot, and that's what you work with, various screenshots of whatever you're shooting.
Amazing.
Yep, I put those through I have editing software I use and some enlarging software that I use. The biggest
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
No,
like this
incredible.
one is and it depends on the Wi-Fi for the quality. Like this one I think is a 5x7, and this one's like an 8x10 or somewhere in there. You know, those are good sizes, although this one had really great Wi-Fi, and it's 11x14.
Wow.
I don't know if I go bigger than 11x14, but no one's really asked for that. My work is very intimate, so I tend to print small and matte and frame big to like draw the eye back inwards into that intimacy. So the size works really well for my style.
Wow.
No, amazing. I love it.
Well, in working in that line of work, what have you discovered about yourself or about others that you weren't expecting, maybe perhaps?
Oh.
A revelation, a surprise, something that you've discovered that you were like, wow.
I don't know. What have I discovered about myself?
Yeah, or others, or through doing what you do.
Goodness. Well, I've discovered, especially combining the embodiment sessions with the shoots, that like it just takes people deeper into themselves and how much that's needed. Like I could just see, I mean, I think we all already knew how, like, about that self-critic in our head, right? Yeah. So it just helps me see that, like, I'm not the only one walking around with that, right?
Of course not.
No. But, you know, exactly, that's exactly my point, you know? So you've realized that a lot of other people are stuck in their head, and once you put those barriers down, they open up, right? And I think we're all like that. It's the fear of judgment, right? Most of the time, you don't want to be judged, so you just open up with people where you feel safe about opening up about things, you know, that might be more sensitive to you for some reason. So.
But then you realize you're not alone, right?
Exactly.
We're all, no matter what we look like, you know, if we choose to go to the gym or not, you know, to dye my hair blonde or not, we all are not alone. Like we all have those same feelings, that little critic in your brain that will tell you negative things, you know? Yeah. So, I think that's also a lot empowering too, to realize that we're not alone. We're all the same, you know, we're just humans and that's it.
And I was asking you that question, but I'm sure a lot of your clients discover so much about themselves through doing this. They get out of their way and they realize that maybe they were kinkier than they thought, or, you know.
That's true, though. If they wanted to try it, they never tried it. And they're like, woo, this is actually really fun and hot. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I mean, I have one of the clients I'm just come to mind right now is that she had just had a really bad breakup like a few months ago and really lost a lot of confidence, she said, right? Like, you know, feeling unattractive. And but she really wanted to do the pictures. So, you know, we did them. She did the questionnaire. We had the embodiment session, and she was just so delighted when she saw the pictures. I mean, oh my God, she told me she got her confidence back. I was like, oh, like that's all I needed to know.
Yes,
I mean, it was,
of course. Like that's an amazing success story, you know?
I know.
Like,
that's so fulfilling.
Yeah. She was just so, it was amazing. I mean, she was like, I'm going to use these on my dating profile now, you know, like it was beautiful. So I love hearing things like that, you know, about
definitely
a transformation, another piece on the healing journey. And just, I mean, my aim is to show people their beauty. Like that's really what I'm here for.
Yes.
So that's been a good day when that happened.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you so much for the work you do. It's pretty powerful and
guys
amazing.
Have to check that out.
Yes, you guys do.
And for people that are single too, you can work with her as well.
Absolutely.
So we always like to ask, in doing that journey, what was your biggest failure and your biggest success? So what was the thing you struggled maybe the most with, and what was your biggest success? Something that really blew out of proportion.
Do you mean the journey of the remote portraits or the journey of my career for 25 years?
Either or, it's up to you.
Okay. The biggest failure.
And that could be anything.
Say it again.
It could be anything that really for you.
The first thing that comes to mind is when I first started shooting weddings. Okay. And that was again like 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was really, in the beginning, the technical challenges were a struggle for me, right? Like I'm a really emotional, intuitive shooter. So in the beginning, learning a lot of the technology was hard. I mean, I've learned it. I've been doing it for a long time now.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I was really nervous, and I shot this one wedding, and all the film came back underexposed. And I was terrified. Like it took me a while to give the clients their proofs back.
And underexposed means that it was darker than it should be, or you couldn't see clearly the images, for people that don't know the technical terms.
Underexposed is there wasn't enough light. Like I didn't have the aperture open enough. And so it makes the film like kind of grainier. And so, they just didn't look as good as I wanted them to. But I mean, so it took me a lot to like move through that, to bring them their pictures, to just see what happened. And I mean, to my surprise, they didn't notice.
Wow.
They didn't notice. They're like, oh, wow, beautiful picture. You're like,
that's amazing.
Dodged a bullet.
But I mean, what I learned, and maybe that's also my greatest success in the same moment, because what I learned was that, you know, people want to see themselves happy, like, especially in the weddings, right? They want to see their joy, their connection, their moment, and the people around them loving them, like because that was there, right? Like that I've always shot well. So the I don't know, the pickiness of an artist, right? The critical eye I have, like a lot of people don't have that. So that moment, I learned that I could like loosen the reins a bit on myself.
Yeah.
I mean, be more forgiving, right? Towards yourself.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I learned how to not underexpose at a wedding again after that. But I mean, I still, like, whenever you make a mistake, it like wasn't that big a deal. So
no, exactly.
So that was a really great learning experience.
Wow.
Amazing.
Me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Totally.
And before we let you go, if you could put one sentence on a billboard for everyone to see in the world, what would it be?
Oh,
one sentence.
Well, I wish you would have prepared me for these questions. It's going to take one
Whatever
sentence.
You think.
Love yourself. Like,
that's a good one.
Be you.
Yeah.
Be who you are.
Be you.
Yes.
I like that one.
Do you, you know, like be your brilliance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
I love that. Go. Yep.
Yeah.
I stand by that every day for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on
you,
the podcast.
and then you capture it. There you go. Right?
There
you go.
And I'll, something like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So for our listeners, RebeccaTolk.com is the website to check out if you want to go see her work, everything she does, all the packages. There's a lot of information there. You have a blog as well. It's really the way to go. You also have an Instagram.
On Facebook, Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram. So I'm going to do you the favor to put all of these in the description for people. And we just really want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to connect with us and to share your passion with the world and our listeners.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate all your questions. It's
really awesome work. So keep doing what you do and
like
keep
we said,
growing.
No matter where you live, you can work with Rebecca.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty amazing. So
unless she's sleeping.
Yes.
Unless I'm sleeping. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Welcome. Thank
Wish you a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.